So, this is an incredibly serious video. Well, it's not really. Yeah, so there was... I suppose it's a bit of defence, really, and then a bit of comedy, well, a bit of humour. So, I have started filming with more than one camera lens, with more than one camera angle, and it's been obviously the helmet mount and this one here, and that's because I talk a lot with my hands, and I put one on just to see what it was like. Put one on, and I noticed how many times I'm, checking my mirrors. I'm doing observations, and I thought, it's I suppose it's a good way of critiquing your observation. So I left it on. I did a few with it and stuff, and then I thought, right, how do you do sort of the multicam stuff? How do you do that? How does that work? How do you set it up and stuff? And that's because that's the kind of world I'm in. It's coming up to tractor season, so the roads are full of shit. That's the kind of world I'm in. So it intrigues me about using multi cameras and stuff, and setting it up and getting the timing right and all that kind of stuff. And then I know it wasn't directed as me, because I doubt he's ever seen my videos, but there was a guy on the Motovlog forum that did a piss take of the number of camera angles that are knocking about, and I kind of realised that I think at the top of my head watching that, I thought, well, I must have at least 8 cameras knocking about in my office, because I've been doing this because I've been filming stuff for quite some time. I must have quite a few cameras in my office. I think I posted that, I've got about 8 cameras. Now, I've put as many as I can on my bike. I run out of memory cards. That's what's been the limitation today, is memory cards. And I've obviously got the drift on my helmet facing forward. I've got a GoPro 3 Plus, or Black, whatever you want to call it, filming me. I've been thinking of moving into Sony, into the world of Sony. So I've got an AS50 on my mirror stalk, but the thing I'm doing with the AS50 is it doesn't shoot 4K video, but it does do 4K stills. So I've put that on. It'll do a 4K time lapse. So apparently, so I've set that to 4K time lapse. I've also got. I'm not sure about this last one. Well, the second to last one. I've also got a session on a monopod pole thing attached to the back of the bike. Currently, the monopod is retracted all the way. I'm going to get to a clear bit here, and I'm going to open it up. And I've got a final camera. I've got one more, and there's a bit of a story about this one. Let me just pull over in here and sort the final one out, because it's gone a bit weird. Yeah, so the final one. Right, so yeah, let's use this as my weird place. So there's a bit of stretch of road here that's quite quiet. So let's do that. Let's put the pole up as well. That's obviously going to be very shaky, and we'll put it down in a second. Yeah, so I've got the pole up, but probably the one that I'm most kind of interested in the footage from, when I was a lot younger, a lot slimmer, had loads more hair, I used to parachute for a living, and part of what I did was filming people, doing stuff. And one of the problems with filming parachuting is that when you because of the sort of technology we had at the time, you didn't have massive memory cards and stuff, so you couldn't do like a whole day's worth of filming. You had to download it, or you had to change tapes and stuff, and that was kind of a big issue, because when you take a camera off a helmet for skydiving, you potentially don't put it back exactly where it was. You've got to resight it and stuff. So I had a thing called a Manfrotto clip, which meant I could unclip and clip my camera back on to exactly the same place. Didn't have to worry about sighting it. So I was happy to take it off. But I was also in the plane one day, and as we took off, I unclipped my camera and I kind of stuck my camera out of the door to a couple of, well, I'd like to say it was a couple of inches, but it was probably a couple of feet from the ground, and it made some cracking footage of the takeoff, and I did it a couple of times, and it was, it looked really good. So I've put one of these Chinese/Japanese cameras. It's upside down at the moment, on the bottom, to see if I can get sort of a similar footage of the kind of road, obviously without taking off and without a sort of plane. It was quite good. I might link in the bottom to the one of the videos I did still exists on YouTube, and I'll show you that. It's just at the start of it where we take off. It does look quite good, and I think after doing that, a lot of people kind of copied that. So now, obviously, none of these, I doubt any of these are going to become, my standard go-to camera. Because apart from obviously that one, because that one and my Drift are the two that I use, but I don't think I'm going to keep up with them. Because well, I'm I think probably my right turn is a bit limited, because it's quite close to the ground, and I've jammed the monopod in, but well, I suppose it's not, I haven't secured it, if you know what I mean, so it's not tied in, but it is, well, I don't know, I'm concerned that it could fall off at any second and skewer a passerby. it's always good here when you're at Boscombe Down to look, as you get to about here, is to follow the lights, and if you see any sort of landing lights, you know something's coming in, so it's worth just stopping off, especially if you've got kids, because they go crazy for it. Right, let's find somewhere to turn around. I don't really want to go on the dual carriageway. Right, I think we've had enough fun with that. Still secure, good. It's taking a bit of a beating. I mean, you know, it's not going to be the best footage, because it's obviously going to be very, very shaky, but you'll get the I'm sure you'll get the point. Yeah, so I'm not sure, you know, going on from this, I'm fairly sure that because of the way these things work with microphones and stuff, I'm going to have the helmet camera mic as the kind of the main option. So my main footage and audio is going to come from whatever I put on my helmet. I'm thinking that I'm going to obviously. The drifts on this one, I'm thinking of the better Sony on my my new helmet that arrives tomorrow. Yeah, so the Sony on that one. Yeah, and probably one of the GoPros on here where the Hero is, and there's nothing, you know. That's I'll stick with that one. On there, and depending on how this goes, there are some videos that I do, and I'm sure you do them as well, is when you've got you know, a gap between the things happening that's relevant, but you don't want somebody to have to sit there for, you know, for 3 minutes just watching you, you know, try and pick your way through traffic or ride along, you know, a relatively straight road. So what depending on how it come out today, what I could do with that is have this this AS50 running the 4K time lapse on my fog lights on the front, and just see if it, you know, if it's decent. So just have it running on that, and see if you know, if I want to fill a portion with the journey, but don't want the journey to take, you know, however long it took, I'll just use the 4K time lapse. That's so, unless it's wildly different to what I expect it to be, that's what I reckon I'll probably do. Is you know, is go with helmet cam and audio as standard. So most times when I go out, have that on anyway, as whether I'm vlogging or not, just to capture, you know, if somebody does try or succeed in killing me, so at least there's footage of it. And then when I'm organising something or doing a piece to camera, I'd have that ready. You know, probably stick with that one filming me, and then this one on my fog light on the front doing time lapse if it's a long journey, so I can get the time lapse and set it. At the moment it's set to like every second, which I think is probably why I think I probably used a very small memory card, and it's probably on every second, so it's probably taken, well, a shitload of 4K images. Yeah, so I suppose I better talk into it, so I don't have to talk when I get back, so the audio's the same. So I'll probably fly around the vehicle to do a couple of shots of each one, and then put a bit from work out the 4K footage from this, and put that on here with a bit of music. What do you think of that? Is that alright? I don't know, because I haven't seen it yet. I'm just doing audio, talking to the camera, and then I'll see which ones I like, and then get it posted, and then get some more memory cards so I can get even more angles going at the same time.